dough makes me cold and soggy.
Two previous video games, Yeah Kung Fu and Karate Champ, served as models for Capcom's 1987 release of the hugely influential Street Fighter. Although the first edition was popular enough, 1991 Street Fighter II entirely revolutionized the entertainment sector. The core collection of Street Fighter games has been kept to only 5 titles, thanks to the numbering systems and pseudo-sequels, albeit this is a very misleading estimate. More than 30 years since the initial game was launched, an astounding 22 have been made available. Of course, this excludes the about 12 Street Fighter-related crossover games, tie-in games, tangential connected games, and bizarre one-offs that are dispersed across the genre. Not even the fighter appearance in films like Wreck-It Ralph and Nintendo Super Smash Bros. Are included in that. It is challenging to know everything there is to know about the several games that make up Street Fighter. The franchise has a rich history, and the game draws inspiration from many different sources. If a Street Fighter player just prefers playing as one character over another, they may be precluded from learning even the most fundamental details about the other fighters. In light of the discussion till now, we will dig into the facts about the old gaming institution. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin.
Their faces. Lay off the mask, amigo. I'll show you.
A vicious man with green skin named Blanca has the ability to generate electricity. Blanca's original name was Jimmy, a little boy who suffered an airplane crash and ended up in the Amazon rainforest. As the plane got too close to a base, Shadaloo fired a shot to bring it down. Animals raised Blanca for a considerable amount of time. He once stepped in to save Don Hibiki's life while they were in the woods. Blanca left to explore the outer world after they became good friends. After being involved in street fighting, Blanca eventually took part in the Second World Warrior Tournament. In Street Fighter II, Blanca re-meets his mother, who recognized him from a live broadcast of one of his fights, thanks to the anklets he was wearing. Blanca decides to temporarily leave his mother and travel to Hong Kong with Dan due to the unusual glances he was receiving. For various reasons, Blanca, Dan, and Sakura all take part in the SIN's tournament in Street Fighter IV, with Blanca aiming to win the admiration of others. In the SFV, Blanca is cohabitating amicably with his mother and has successfully reintegrated into society. One day, a dubious marketer approaches him and suggests that he turn Blanca into a household name by mass making a doll that looks just like him. Despite his wild appearance, Blanca is often timid and humble. Besides spending time with children, he likes to spend time with his friends and family. But when furious, Blanca unleashes a predatory fury, attacking his adversaries with the intensity of a wild animal that's been let out of its confines. As the series goes on, Blanca continues to speak in the same manner, but he starts to demonstrate a bit more common sense, which ironically makes him a more sensible counterpart to the fiery Dan Hibiki. His fight with El Fuerte and his victory speech after defeating Vega are two examples of how he dislikes masks and believes that morally honest people shouldn't hide their identity. Akira, Akaman Yasuda's notion of Blanca originally showed up in a sketch as an African man named Anabebe who was raised by a lion. Blanca's original concept was probably based on the character Anabebe from the popular manga series Jungle King Tar-chan at the time. Following the release of Final Fight, which featured a boss character with a similar design named Damned, who was also known as Thrasher in the SNES edition in Stage 1, as well as several Blanca's character concepts such as masked wrestler modeled after Tiger Mask and a warrior in the ninja style, Capcom went back to Street Fighter II. Later, Hammer Blanca, a large man with thick sideburns, appeared in his place. His finalized appearance was possibly influenced by the Gorilla Man figure from Iki Kajiwara's Tiger Mask comic. Blanca's past is akin to that of Gorilla Man, since both characters wore anklets made of chains and even had teeth that looked the same. When the team realized that employing only human characters would make the game dull, they adopted Blanca's vicious visage. The most distinguishing aspect of Blanca's appearance is his green tint, which was initially believed to be the consequence of his swallowing plant chlorophyll to help him blend in with his jungle environment, but subsequently evolved into a permanent change. But in Street Fighter II, Blanca's coloring was explained by the fact that he was struck by lightning during the storm that brought down his plane. In Street Fighter II, Blanca's skin has a yellowish green color, while in subsequent incarnations it's a dazzling green. Blanca was painted as having pure green skin in the early Street Fighter II artwork, despite having a yellowish complexion in the game. Along with his green skin, Blanca has brilliant orange hair. He borrowed the nostalgia tier from his Street Fighter II debut in Street Fighter V, but Blanca is a human despite his odd appearance. His hair has grown longer and more unkempt for Street Fighter V on his head, arms, and chest. He He has additional orange and green hair covering his limbs. The first item of clothing he chooses to wear is that of a life-size doll of his persona, Blanca-chan. His second alternate look is an Aztec-inspired attire with an eagle helmet perched atop his head, a shield fastened to his arm, and a large necklace around his neck. In Street Fighter 6, Blanca now wears a yellow bandana around his neck and short blue overalls with a happy face design on the left side and a left strap. The Incredible Hulk's epilogue in Marvel's Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, which is non-canon, features Blanca. In this epilogue, Bruce Banner makes the claim that both Blanca's and his own mutations were brought on by gamma radiation. He may also be seen in the background of one level, hunched down and growling in front of a campfire, just across from the Beast, who is mimicking him. Aside from Sakura, Blanca is Dan's sole genuine buddy. Regardless of how long they've been acquainted, Dan was once saved by Blanca before the latter's mutation. Dan constantly refers to Blanca as Jimmy, his real name. Sakura and Blanca share a close bond with one another. It's commonly known that Blanca and Sakura parted ways in Street Fighter V before getting back together. Sakura asks Blanca, Lara's next-door neighbor, to give his mother one more visit. Blanca is a playable DLC character in Street Fighter X Tekken. He teams up with Sakura, and in Tekken, Lars and Elisa are their rivals. Blanca and Sakura are informed of Pandora's whereabouts close to the South Pole. After a few months, Blanca and Sakura start to worry about what has happened to Dan, since he left and hasn't come back. In order to find Dan and look into the Pandora box, the two set off for their South Pole. While traveling to the South Pole, Blanca and Sakura come upon Lars and Elisa. They think that Lars is a television star known as Red Warrior Bakori Man. When Lars inquires about this TV personality, Elisa identifies her, after which Blanca and Sakura challenge them to a duel. Blanca and Sakura are happy since they got to battle a lot of warriors looking for Pandora after defeating Ogre. They soon realize that Dan is gone, and Sakura immediately cries out his name. Following that, Pandora opens, inviting them to see within. Dan is found inside the box, frozen and battered, and the two decide to help him out. Blanca is one of the 8-stage fighting bosses in the official fan-made video game Street Fighter Mega Man. His copy weapon is Tropical Hazard, while Dalsim's copy weapon Yoga Inferno is weaker than him. In Monster 4 Ultimate, the F Blanca Pants Palico armor makes the Palico resemble Blanca. For the same assignment, the player may get the F Blanca fish weapon. Blanca is one of the playable characters in the puzzle game Puzzle Fighter as well. Blanca translates to white in Esperanto. It is comparable to the Spanish word Blanca. Blanca is Yoshinori Ono's favorite Street Fighter character, and he regularly carries a Blanca doll that he uses to hide spoilers, according to an interview with the Nintendo channel. Brazilian gamers liked Blanca, but Capcom faced backlash for its depiction of the nation. When told that Brazilians enjoy Blanca, veteran Capcom producer Yoshinori Ono expressed surprise and sadness for the unfavorable impression the character left on the country. Later, Capcom Brazil would help shape Lara, a new character, into a more authentically Brazilian fighter in Street Fighter V. Charles Darwin, a naturalist who proposed evolution by natural selection, and Blanca both have the same birthday. The majority of Darwin's data came from his exploration of South America. In Street Fighter III's Second Impact, Japanese voice actor Yuji Ueda, who also voiced Blanca, played the role of Urien. Felicia declares her desire to have Blanca as her co-star in the original game's conclusion, Darkstalkers: The Night Warriors. In Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max, Ingrid tosses a fruit at random, generally a handful of bananas, a pineapple or a watermelon, which Blanca either catches in his mouth or gets smacked with. One of the rare characters from the first Street Fighter 4 to only have one foe throughout the whole game series is Blanca. El Fuerte is his main competitor. A Blanca doll is seen at Sakura's waist in the back as she's wearing Sakura's story outfit from Street Fighter V, which is a reflection of her professional gear. The special move known as Beast Cannon, which is most usually associated with the character John Talbane from the Darkstalkers series, and the second V-trigger Lightning from the Blanca's Beast special move Rolling Cannon, are very similar. Despite the fact that Rolling Attack appears in several games with the same name, the techniques that were derived from it have either preserved their translated titles, which treat it as a noun, or their original Japanese names, which treat it as a verb. Backstep roll is an example of this, often referred to as backstep rolling in Street Fighter V, and by its normal name in Street Fighter IV. The Street Fighter VI theme for Blanca, Zilra Zilra, combines traditional music with well-known Brazilian music genres, including samba and Brazilian funk.
Yes, that's right. So I had to make lots of Blanca.
What makes Blanca so strong? Despite the fact that Blanca developed his vicious fighting technique on his own, Capcom's USA division first depicted it as capoeira moves. His signature attack, Electric Thunder, stuns anyone it touches as he crouches and discharges an electric charge. There might be 150,000 volts of lightning generated by Blanca's power. Although Blanca uses charges a lot, his combat style is built on quickness and surprise. He regularly surprises opponents with the range and unexpected fury of his assaults, the majority of which are variations of his rolling attack. Because of his peculiar look and mobility, his rapid leap enables enables him to dodge bullets and assault foes before they have time to recover. Furthermore, he can defend himself against attacks in creative ways because of his animalistic characteristics. For instance, in the Street Fighter II games, Blanka may avoid Sagat's high tiger shot by simply stepping forward and letting the attack pass over his head. The rolling attack was altered in later games, so that weaker iteration stopped short, increasing the player's tactical options. To offer the player more options for approaching opponents, they also incorporated numerous rolling attack variants. Later titles in the series include Blanka maneuvers that enable him to run quickly in both directions and catch opponents off guard. Aside from ducking bullets, he can also hit an opponent's legs with sliding maneuvers like the Amazon River Run. In Street Fighter V, Blanka may still use all of his moves from past games and his critical art, Dynamic Rolling, which was formerly known as the Lightning Cannonball Ultra Combo from Street Fighter IV, is now accessible, while his second V-trigger, the Lightning Beast, uses lightning to roll opponents in midair and on the ground. His initial V-trigger, the Jungle Dynamo, may instantly roll an opponent. Blanka kneels down and starts to shoot lightning erratically from his body. The opponent won't be injured if they are more than a few feet away from him, but if they make body contact with him, they'll be stunned and knocked to the ground. This move, Electric Thunder, may be used in combos, provides good damage, and is typically safe, provided it isn't used at a risky distance or for a very long time. It's destroyed by a variety of special attacks from other characters, most notably fireballs. As he flies across the field in a ball, Blanka collides with the foe. When used against the vast majority of the cast in the games that Blanka has access to, this move, Beast Roll, is safe to use and cannot be punished if the opponent blocks it. For example, Cammy might strike him with a cannon drill, or even her Super and Ultra if she blocks it, making this maneuver incredibly dangerous for Blanka when used against such characters. This move in the Street Fighter IV series has an armor-breaking feature, which distinguishes it from focus attacks. The EX version may be able to avoid the majority of fireballs, with the exception of multiple fireballs, like Akuma's Shakunetsu Hadoken. The backstep roll technique isn't often used because of how harshly it could be penalized if blocked. The X version of Blanka may be maneuvered in the air, and it can roll backwards and in an arcing motion toward or over the opponent. Blanka can also be used as a cross-up. The upwards beast roll, which is exactly the same as the beast roll, is a useful anti-air technique, but if you miss, most characters will punish you harshly. Blanka may move across the stage while confounding the opponent by employing the incredibly powerful talent of hopping. If you hold down back or down forward while hopping, you can keep your charge for your upwards beast roll to catch your opponent off guard. Combining the hop with the throw beast roll and electricity creates a dangerous mix-up game. Beast slide is a useful tool for Blanka. He slides over the ground a reasonable distance and clips the opponent's foot, a good maneuver for avoiding fireballs. It's not a good idea to use this too often or too close together, because in most cases, blocking it can result in consequences. Another weapon against fireballs is the Coward's Crouch. When Blanka hits the deck, it can stay there for a long time, but if you wish to, you can move to recover it. Marvelous appearances of Blanka in other media. In Street Fighter II, the animated movie, Blanka makes a fleeting appearance in a hotel where a lavish conference is being held. He gets dumped from a cage during the evening's entertainment when Blanka battles Zangief. Blanka uses his electric shock and rolling attack during combat. Tom Carlton dubbed the English voice, and Unch Ishizuka provided the Japanese voice. Scott McNeil provided his voice in the Street Fighter animated series. In the series, Blanka was shown as the protector of a small Brazilian village who later rejoined the Street Fighter team. Blanka, who assists Guile and his allies on numerous missions by gathering intelligence, is one of the most common characters in American animation. Near the conclusion of the second season episode, New Kind of Evil, Blanka unintentionally consumes a massive quantity of mutagen ooze and transforms into a far more deadly and fierce character. Despite this, Blanka has been working with Guile and his pals while attempting to figure out how to go back to normal, even though he soon becomes irate and yells at others. Blanka appears in the final credits of The Wreck-It Ralph, the 50-second animated feature from Disney. When Ralph gets stunned, he loses the battle with Blanka despite his best efforts. In the 1994 live-action Street Fighter movie, Blanka and Charlie were fused into one person. Blanka is portrayed by Robert Mamone in the film. In order to create the ideal soldier, Bison arrests Guile's close friend Carlos Blanka, or Charlie, in the beginning of the movie and submits him to genetic testing. When the movie was created, Charlie couldn't be controlled in the video game Street Fighter Alpha. In the Street Fighter II comics by Udon, Blanka is found by Delta Red while serving as a test subject for a Shadowlo facility in Brazil. Even though the squad is successful in bringing him back along with DJ, he's ultimately discovered and assigned as a Shadowlo fighter in the next Street Fighter tournament. DJ had been serving as their brainwashed flunky. In the first round, he is defeated by Guile, and once Shadowlo is eliminated, he makes up with his mother. The same as in the movies, Shadowlo's experiments are to blame for Blanka's skin tone and electrical prowess in the comics. In Street Fighter vs. Darkstalkers, Blanka is attacked by BB Hood, who believes she is a Darkstalker, but Blanka fights back.
Are you ready for the fight?
All right, Sakura!
All right.
Marvelous verdict. You either love Blanca or you hate him. Whatever your thoughts on the Amazonian marvel, it's undeniable that when gamers first started playing Street Fighter II, Blanca had them spellbound. He's presently a crucial part of Street Fighter and a favorite of the players because of his acrobatics and lightning-fast electricity that always appears to catch you off guard. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.